Good morning, everyone. Oh boy. I wanted to share an experience I had yesterday. And the only reason why I ever come online to share such things is because it blessed me. And I know it was something that could not have happened without the Lord and His Holy Spirit being the guide. Because God is a master orchestrator. I'm telling you, He is an orchestrator when you don't even know what your day is going to move like. And if you start your day off with like, you know what, Lord, this day belongs to you. I surrender this day to you. Order my steps today. Show me which direction I'm supposed to go in. Like when you really truly ask God to orchestrate your day, He will show up. But the thing is, you have to be sensitive enough and discerning enough to know when it happens, where it came from. Everything in life is not just a happenstance. You know what I'm saying? It's not just happenstance. So yesterday, I picked my granddaughter up from school. She gets out like 3:30 or whatever, and I took her to her ortho appointment. And after I left, it's like, you know what? I'm hungry. I hadn't eaten all day. And so I was like, so what do I want to eat? And honestly, that's a big challenge for me. I'm not lying, because I don't eat a lot through the day anyway. I eat kind of later in the day, usually one meal or 1.5 meals or whatever. So I'm thinking like, what do I want to eat? And I didn't feel like cooking. So as I thought about it for a while, it's like, okay, I think I want a sandwich. And I'm really not a lunch meat type of person. I don't even buy lunch meat from the store. I eat real meat. And I didn't want a sandwich that really had cold cuts. I wanted like a really good sandwich. And so I was looking at a couple of places, and one place I did settle on. I was like, it wasn't a new place, but they had changed the name of it, a sandwich shop here in town. And it had great reviews and everything. So I looked up one that was closest to us at the time, and I went over there. I went over there, and when I walked in, it was nobody in there. And this was already probably about 4-ish. No, this probably was like almost 4:45, going on 5 o'clock or something. And so I drove over there, and I walked in, and not one person was in there ordering food. And that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's a pet peeve of mine to walk into a restaurant and there's nobody there. And I was thinking, well, you know what, it's a sandwich shop, so a lot of people came during lunch hour, but still, I just can't. And there was 2 people working in there. One was like at the cash register, and the other one was the preparer. And I was like, Lord. And it's like, when I walked into there, it smells so like, bleach. You can smell the bleach. You know how if you clean up your house and you put extra bleach in that water, and you might be mopping or something, and you smell bleach in the whole house. I smell bleach. And it's like, okay, first of all, there's not anybody in here ordering food. And then second of all, I'm smelling bleach. So I had to play it off. It's like, how do I get out of this? So I asked for a little menu they had, and I looked at it for a while, and then I walked out. I felt some kind of way, but I walked out. So anyway, I got back in the car, got on my phone. It's like, okay, where's the nearest restaurant, that same restaurant? And I found the location. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go over there and try this one. Hopefully there's some people ordering some food. I know that sounds weird, but I guess I don't like for a restaurant to be down, like I want them to be moving. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to have a lot of time in between where, they got gloves on and they touching other stuff and they ain't changing their gloves. Just something like that. I just have that weird stuff going on in me. So anyway, I get to the next one, and I look in there. Ain't nobody in their order. There's one person behind the counter. And I saw one lady walk in, and she had an apron on, and I wasn't sure if she came from another business coming over there to get a sandwich, or did she work there? And so when I passed the window up, I can see the one that walked in the store over at the soda machine or whatever. And then I hear her talking with the lady behind the counter. It's like, you know what? This just ain't working. I can't. I just can't. So I said, bunk that. I'm going across the street to Urbane Cafe. So anyway, as I cross the street and get around up into the parking lot, I see a homeless man that was sitting on the patio. And it's the same homeless man that I was looking for to give him a pair of shorts. And he's kind of, hefty guy. And I was cleaning out, the closets and different things at home 2 or 3 weeks ago. And came across those men pants. And they were sizable, but he's kind of a big guy. So anyways, I saw him sitting on the patio. I said, oh, there he is. So when I got out of the car, I walked up to the patio there and I started talking to him, and I asked him, I said, hey, I got some shorts for you. I've been looking for you, and he said, you sure those big enough? I said, I think they are. It has a string in it where you can tie and you can undo that string, but I think they should be able to cover. So he went on and took them. And so I sat there and I talked to him for a little while, and I can see that he was sitting there contemplating. He was just contemplating and everything. And as we began to talk and I began to share some things with him, tears started coming down his face. And I was like, Lord, and in that moment, that's when I thought, that's why I had such a problem with the other two places that I stopped at to get a sandwich. I couldn't stay there because God had me to go over to that restaurant to see Corey. His name is Corey. And I've seen him around town, different areas of town quite a bit. But when you're looking for somebody, it's hard to find in that moment. So anyways, I was like, Lord, you're so good. Once again, he's a master orchestrator. You understand? When you least expect it, he shows up. His spirit leads and guides and directs when you don't even have a clue what you're about to do. So we talk for a little bit, and I can see his emotion because he's tired. He is tired, tired of being out there. And I'm going to just tell you, a lot of people that's out here in these streets, they got family. They have family. Family living in the town or close to where they are. And later on, I did find out that his mom didn't live too far, but his choice was to be out there for, most time it's for addictions. So anyways, I talked a little bit and just basically was just ministering to him, and then I said, okay, well, I'm getting ready to go in and buy a sandwich. You want me to get you a sandwich? He said, sure. I said, anything you want in particular? And he said, no, whatever you want to get. So I went in there and ordered our food and everything and waited for it. And he was sitting over there, because they need to charge up their phones and stuff like that sometimes, So anywho, it took a little bit. I got our food, went out there and gave it to him. And we talked a little bit more before I left. And I just shared some things with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's where I found out that his mama was not far away. And I began to share with him how a mother's heart is when her child is going through stuff, man. When her child is going through stuff. And it hurts real, real bad. It hurts real bad to see your kid, especially where you live, to be in them streets. You see them when you're out. You may see them out there. And I shared with him my own experiences. Back in the day with one of my sons, like I struggled, man. He was out there, not necessarily living on the streets, but he participated in use of substances back in the day in his younger years. And I remember looking for him. He was staying, with people, wasn't on the streets, but still, he was, probably about 19-ish or somewhere around there. And I remember going to look for him, and I saw him crossing the street one day. And I said, oh my God, there he is. And so I parked and got out of the car, and as I walked towards him crossing the street, my son, he cut up. He cut up on me. He told me, if I did not leave him alone, he didn't want me coming near him. If I did not leave, he would run in the street and get hit by a car, kill himself. Do you not understand the devastation as a mother you feel when that happens? This has already been like 14 years ago or something. Not even that long, maybe. Yeah, probably about that. And 14, 15 years ago. And my heart was crushed. And I had to go get in my car and drive away. I hurt so bad. I cried out to God so much, warring. And yet it was so hard to find the comfort and the peace. But I know that if I stayed in the presence of God, he would help me and help my child. So I was explaining some of these things to him, and talking to him, and then he started crying again. And he was saying that he is tired, he just wants to, and I can see he was so reflective. And so I just know that God led me to him yesterday to talk to him. And he blessed me too. He did bless me because all the different times that I have seen him in different pockets of of town, I've seen that, he was with folks that's doing that stuff, and to see him by himself. And the last couple of times I have seen him, he's been by himself, and he even mentioned he likes being by himself. And one time I saw him, I was sitting outside of the store, and he was sitting, in the shade on a bench out in front of the store. And this is probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he was talking. He was almost looked like he was having some schizophrenic type action going on. I was like, oh, he's over there talking to himself. But when I saw him yesterday, he talked so well. And I know they can go in and out of those things, but he was so in his right mind. He was so in his right mind. We had a good conversation, and I truly believed his heart. He wants to change. He wants to not be there. But sometimes when you have addictions, you know what I'm saying? It just continually pulls you in the flesh. But finally, I told him, okay, well, I'm gonna leave you to eat and everything, and I'm gonna go on and I'll see you again, And I just encouraged him to really reflect on God. Just sit in his presence. Just talk to him. He knows your heart earnestly. And that's one thing about God, man. He doesn't just listen to your words. You know what I'm saying? He's not just listening to your words. He's listening to your heart. He's listening to the heart, because that's where all the motives can be, is in the heart that other people don't see. They don't know. But God knows if you're telling the truth. He knows if you really want to be helped or you really want deliverance. And so I believe that's where Corey was, in that space. And I just continue to encourage him to stay there, And it's not like he don't even have family. Because like I said, a lot of people that I've experienced out in the streets have family. Just like I was my son's family living here, and I had to see and experience that with him out there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm basically just telling a story because I felt so blessed. Blessed. That might have been something small to somebody, baby, but that wasn't small to me, because it showed me how the Holy Spirit works. The master orchestrator. It shows me how the Holy Spirit will lead you, man. And you have no clue initially what's about to happen. But by the end of it, you know that it was a Holy Spirit that led you to that place in that time, and to that person or to that situation. That explains why you didn't buy a sandwich at that spot. That explains why you didn't buy a sandwich at that spot. Because he had you to be there for that person. The person that you was already looking for a couple of weeks ago to give him them shorts, and you couldn't find him. Because a lot of times when you're looking for the people, you can't find them. So I'm so thankful for that. And it brings tears to my eyes and to my heart, bro. Because if you're a mother, it hurts when your kids are going through stuff that's like, you see, it's like a pull on their soul, that the enemy is really trying to take them out. But you don't have the control in yourself. Only the Spirit of God has that authority and control, and can heal and deliver and set free. And all we can do is pray. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes even just praying, we feel like we're not doing enough, because we can't change the situation. We can't fix the situation. And sometimes your kids ain't gonna like you, bro. Sometimes your kids ain't gonna like you when they're doing what they want to do. They're gonna look at you as the villain. They're gonna look at you as a villain because you have their life like in your heart. Like, you really are wanting to see them walk in the positions that God has them to walk in, but they can't see that yet. So they look at you as the villain and trying to stop what they want to do. You understand what I'm saying? And you can, just the story I told you about my son, to get me to leave him because he was caught up in addiction. He was caught up in his way of living, his way of doing things, and he didn't want nothing to interfere with it. But you know what? I don't care if I have to take the hit because they don't like me, or they're angry at me because they see that I'm a villain or something, because I'm telling them what I know to be true. So I just wanted to come in and just share that. To me, that's a testimony. And the Bible tells us to share it, basically, because people overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the testimony of somebody. That's a testimony to me of how God works. It should be a testimony to someone else of how God moves, how God works in our life. So I hope it blessed somebody today, somebody that has experienced that, or somebody that doesn't quite understand how the Holy Spirit does function. Just remember, it's not by your power, your might, but by the Spirit, said the Lord of hosts. He's the master orchestrator. Satan is the master manipulator, okay? And that's the thing, because sometimes God will be blamed for things that happen to people in this world. And they never look at the fact that we have an enemy to our soul in this earth realm that wants nothing but destruction for our life. But Jesus came to set the captives free, and we are free indeed. And so I just wanted to encourage somebody today with that little story. It blessed me, so I wanted to bless others. So y'all have a blessed day. Take care.